I ruined my kids' lives. Okay, this is a true story about a man who approached me at a conference I was speaking at many years ago. I've spoken for so many years now all over the country, given hundreds of talks. Two of the most common questions have to do with family. One of them is, what do I do when my kid leaves the faith? How do I keep them Catholic? How do I bring them back to the faith? So I'm speaking about something along these lines on stage at a conference one time. And afterwards, I'm in the lobby area where the vendors are all set up, and I got a table there, and I've got different items that I'm offering, CDs, DVDs, and so forth, back when that was still all the rage, right? This is about 10 years or so ago. And a man walks up to me, and he's an older guy, and he says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he says, "I'm in my 70s, 72, I think might have been the age." And he said, "I've ruined my kids' lives." And he stood there, and he's very dejected looking, and he started to get tears in his eyes. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, everything that you said on stage there about how we should be living the faith, and especially a man, what a man should be doing to pray, lead his family in prayer, be the spiritual head of the home, be the spiritual protector of the home. Just like men are supposed to be that physical protector. If somebody kicks in your door to harm your family, you as the man should have some plan, some idea what you're going to do to protect and defend your family. You've got to be ready to engage in a bad guy that's going to come and attack your family anywhere, in public, at home, wherever. But spiritually speaking, and this is where the attack comes all the time, we men need to be prepared to engage in that fight." So this man says, "I've ruined my kids' lives. I have not done these things that you talked about. All of my kids," and I don't remember how many he said he had, "all of them are adults now. They're having kids of their own, and none of them are practicing the Catholic faith. They've all walked away from it." And he looked so beat up and torn up at this moment. He said, "Doug, what do I do?" As if it's over. And I looked at him and I thought, this is a tough one because you want to give some hope. Like, hope is critical. We cannot lose hope. I know all of you out there, parents especially, who might be watching this video, share this with others because this is not an isolated situation at all. When it comes to men a lot of times, they just won't talk about this. They won't come out of their shell and say things like, "Yeah, I ruined my kids' lives." But inside, they might be really questioning, especially as years go by and their kids didn't turn out the way they had hoped and prayed. Maybe inside they hoped and prayed, but they didn't act maybe in ways that they should have in the faith. And now they're looking at their kids' lives thinking, "Wow, some of my kids became, such troubled individuals, and they're living train wreck lives, train wreck marriages, divorces. Their kids are having problems. What did I do? Where did I go wrong? What can I do now?" There are others out there who feel this way, men and women alike. This is what I said to that man. He's standing there looking so dejected, tears in his eyes. And I looked at him and I said, "You cannot lose hope on this. Do you have breath in your lungs? Do you have blood in your veins? Is your heart still beating? Yes. Do you still have a mind that can turn to God? Yes. Then you are still in the fight." Look, this is a general truth that we should know already, but a lot of times either we don't know it, or we've let it kind of slip to the side, or the enemy has beat it down in us to where we just don't think it's effective, or maybe we're just struggling with that one piece inside that needs to click, that one piece that says, "I can do this." Matthew 24, verse 13, one of my favorite verses, Jesus says, "The one that perseveres to the end will find salvation." The one that perseveres, in other words, doesn't quit, doesn't give up. Why do we like all the Rocky movies, whether you like the acting and the script or not? What the Rocky movies, the famous Rocky movies with Sylvester Stallone, "Yo, Adrian." Why do we like these movies? Because no matter what the underdog story is, how it's portrayed, how it's written up, he rises above in one way, shape, or form. There's always that little montage music for several minutes where all of a sudden he's working out, things are changing, and all of a sudden, boom, he's jacked and ready to go into the fight. There's something inside that clicks. Now he's doing what he needs to do, and he's back in the fight. That mindset, the reason that works in those movies is because it's innate in all of us. It is built into all of us. It is within every heart, mind, and soul by God's design to be a fighter, to not give up, no matter how dark or challenging or difficult the trial is. So I looked at that man and said, as long as you got breath in your lungs, as long as you got blood running through your veins and your heart's beating, you got a mind that can process this, you're in the fight. You are still their father. You're still their mother, ladies, if you're watching this video. You are the mother, you are the father. God honors that. The enemy knows that. You tell the enemy where to go. You tell him he's got no business. These demons, they got no business in your life or the life of your children. Now, spiritual authority changes, obviously, depending upon your kids' circumstances in life, marriage, this and that, and so forth. But you still have a parental position that God has ordained. And because of that, your prayers as their parent are powerful. You could be 95 on your deathbed and just moving those beads through your fingers. I do want to encourage you to click the link in the description and get on the wait list for a new course we have coming out soon, Awaiting the Prodigal's Return. It is about children, our children and grandchildren. I'm a grandfather myself, who have left the faith. We want them back. By the grace of God, we want them to come back. But what do? We have a whole course we're about to launch, the steps we can take to go deep into helping our kids come back to the faith and help preserve so that they hopefully never leave the faith. I am praying for my great-grandchildren. I'm praying for every grandchild, great-grandchild, great-great-grandchild down the line, from my bloodline on until the end of time. I am already praying for them. I am. My daily rosary, I pray this rosary daily, and I pray for all of the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so forth that will come from my bloodline. I want them all to be with God. Okay, so click the link, get on that wait list, sign up for it. I know about a man who's a retired grandfather. I think he had maybe 4 or 5 children, and I think at the time it was 6 or 7 grandkids. He said he prayed one rosary for each of them every day. That's how he engaged in the fight. He did it with an intention that the relationship that God would have with each of them and his help of prayer would be powerful, strong, relentless. So I ruined my kids' lives. If you ever feel that way, don't ever give up hope. Because as long as you have breath in your lungs, as long as you have a beating heart, as long as you have a mind that can turn to God and a heart that can be lifted up to God, remember the words praise and gratitude, Lord. I give my children to you. I give my grandchildren to you. No matter what the circumstances, what the situation, they are yours. You love them more than I do. You have a better ending in mind for them than I could even fathom. And face it, when we die, if things go according to how things naturally go, my kids are all going to live a lot longer than me, my grandkids, of course, and so forth. We can understand that, right? That's how that goes. I'm not going to be around to see them anyway. I'm not going to be around to know whether they stayed in the faith or didn't. Even if they're all in the faith right now, they might not be after you die. They might go through a hiccup or a challenge or an obstacle in life, but we have to trust that God's going to bring them back in the end. Have to remember that God sees the heart of your child, the mind of your child, and even the behavior of your child in ways we can never understand, that we can't see. He understands and recognizes, because he's God, the culpability, the true vulnerabilities that they have, the wounds, all of these pieces of their lives, their personalities, all of it in ways we can't even understand. Think about this. When we have these children given to us when they're young, and we think, if I can just give them more rosaries and more saints and more lives of saints and more prayers and just cover them in all this, and that will protect them and take care of them. And then something happens and they leave the faith, or something really struggles in their life and something goes kind of haywire, and we think, why? How did this happen? Sometimes that's because we're trying to control the situation. As I said in a previous video, you can check it out on the channel here. I talk about how the things that we're doing wrong, the one main thing that we do wrong sometimes when it comes to helping our kids in their faith and keeping them Catholic, a lot of that is a control issue. Go check out that video. But that's an important thing for us to remember. We have to trust in God's grace. So for all you men out there in particular, but even you ladies out there who feel like because of how you lived your faith and how you raised your kids, you may have ruined their lives, that's how you might look at it. Don't look at it that way. That's not how God looks at it. If there's anything in your heart that is turning around and changing right now and realizing that you want to grow in holiness, you just take that and use that as a powerful tool to cooperate with God's grace and let him do what God can do. Remember, and I'll wrap it up with this. He sees the chessboard. We're that little pawn down here. We're that little rook. We're that little bishop over here that he's moving around. He sees it from up here. He knows what he's doing. He just wants to know that we will cooperate with him. Detach, submit to him, detach from the things that interfere with us becoming closer to him. One simple example of that is this. A bird, it is said, can be held back from flying free by a heavy rope or a thin thread. So detach from even the thin threads and know that God is the one that does the changing, the converting, the strengthening. He uses us, but he's the one that really does it. So, have you ruined your kids' lives? Maybe some of your choices haven't been the best. Maybe it has caused some obstacles. Maybe there's been some things that have been traumatic, and there's some things you need to change and maybe apologize for. As long as you got a heartbeat, as long as you got breath in your lungs, and you can lift your mind and your heart to God, you're still in this fight. Don't forget to click that link in the description and get on that wait list for this course that we've got coming out. It's going to do, I believe, by the grace of God, I hope and pray, tremendous things to help people find hope, find that perseverance, and find some answers, some serious answers, what we can do to bring our kids back to the faith and help preserve them from ever leaving the faith. It's a big problem in the world, and it's a big concern, as it should be for us, but we need to put it in the right perspective so we don't wring our hands in fear, but that we trust in God and let him take care of things. And we do our part the way he wants us to do it. So again, click the link in the description, get on that wait list, share this video with others, and let's get this information out to help other people find hope and turn lives around for the glory of God and the salvation of souls. God bless and strengthen you. We'll see you again soon.